Hello everyone, welcome to Teaching Pathshala. This is the fourth part of plant secondary metabolites in which we are going to study about the alkaloids and the glycosides. And this will be, I guess, the last part of plant secondary metabolites. Before this, I have already uploaded the three part. So if you have not seen that video, then I will mention the link in the end of this video. So this topic we have taken from the unit of plant biology, or you can say it as the plant physiology, and this topic will be beneficial for all the students who are preparing for the CSIR NET, GATE Life Science, and the students who are pursuing in MSc and the BSc courses. In the end of this video, we are going to solve some CSIR NET questions. We are going to start this lecture with the alkaloids. So first question is that what are alkaloids? Although we have seen that there are total of four classes of a secondary metabolites. First was the terpenes, second was the phenolics, third was the alkaloids, and fourth was the glycosides. So first we are going to deal with the alkaloids. So let's see the definition and then we are going to talk about it. Alkaloids are the natural organic substance that are predominantly found in plants and normally contain at least one nitrogen atom in their chemical structure. Due to their basic nature, or you can say that the alkaline nature, the name has been given, that is the alkaloids, means they are going to have a basic nature. And second thing is that they are going to have a nitrogen, and that is why they are termed as the nitrogen containing organic compounds. So there is total of two properties of a alkaloid. First thing is that it is a organic compound. Second thing that it is a nitrogen containing organic compound, and third thing that it is going to have a basic nature. As because it is one of the class of a plant secondary metabolites, that is why it used to act as a protective substance against the animal and the insect attacks. Now let's talk about the alkaloids function. So many alkaloids though are poisons, but they have a physiological effect that render them valuable as a medicines. Although alkaloids used to contain many drugs and they are supposed to be regarded as the poison, but if that whole thing, that is the different alkaloids, if they are going to be used in a proper or the adequate amount, at that time they are going to be proved as the best valuable medicine. Like in case of any kind of a drugs, if you take that drugs in a high amount, obviously that is going to lead to the death of that person. But if that same drug is going to be taken in a very minute amount in the overall production of any kind of a medicine, at that time it is going to be act as a lifesaver. So that is what mentioned here, that alkaloids, although they are supposed to be a poison, but they are going to show a very good or very valuable effect in the medicinal field if they are supposed to be used in an adequate amount. For example, the curarine that is supposed to be found in the deadly extract curare is a powerful muscles relaxant, as well as the atropine is used to dilate the pupil of our eyes. So all these are the example that if all the different alkaloids they are supposed to be used in a proper amount, they are going to be act as a lifesaver, or they are going to be act as the valuable drugs in a medicinal field. Next function, the narcotic alkaloids used in the medicine, including the morphine and codeine for the relief of a pain, and the cocaine as a local anesthetic. So if a person is suffering from any kind of a severe pain, at that time the codeine and the morphine they are supposed to be included as the pain reliever, as well as the cocaine is supposed to be used as the local anesthetic in a medical field. Next function is the antimicrobial. In some cases, the alkaloids play an important role in the antimicrobial defense, that is against the bacteria and the fungi, and even in the interaction between the one plant and the another, that is supposed to be called as the allelopathy. The last function is the repel feeder. That means the alkaloid is going to repel the feeder animal, because the plants which is supposed to secrete the alkaloids, they are supposed to have a bitter and the pungent taste, and along with this property, the alkaloid is supposed to be regarded as the toxic. So ingesting the plant that is supposed to secrete the alkaloids, it may be harmful for any animal. Now let's talk about the synthesis of an alkaloid. So biological precursor of most of the alkaloids are the L-amino acids. And the example of the L-amino acids include the ornithine, lysine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan, histidine, and aspartic acid. Due to the presence of a different kind of a precursor molecule, there is a numerous type of a pathway through which the alkaloids use to make its biosynthesis. So this make the overall classification difficult, that how the pathway should be classified according to the different precursor molecule. Because with rest of the plant secondary metabolites, we have seen that there is a few type of a precursor molecule, and that is why we have classified it very easily. But although there here there is a lot of precursor molecule, and that is why the classification become difficult. The many alkaloids move from the organ of a synthesis to the organ of a storage. That means the organ for the synthesis will be a different, and the organ for the storage of these alkaloids will be different. As because the alkaloid is going to be stored in some kind of a organ, obviously the transport mechanism is going to take place. So if we talk about the transport of alkaloids, so it is mainly going to take place with the help of a symplastic transport mechanism or with the apoplastic transport mechanism. So with this we have completed the portion of alkaloids, and if we want to revise it, so it is a nitrogen containing organic compound which is supposed to act as one of the class of a plant secondary metabolites. And the things which you have to remember is the different examples of alkaloids as well as its definition. So for example, you can consult the Pathfinder book, in which there is a lot of examples of the alkaloids, although I have kept very few examples to explain you the main things. And the students who are not having the Pathfinder, they can Google the example of alkaloids. They will get excellent amount of examples regarding the alkaloids. Now we are going to start with the glycosides. So what are glycosides? So it is a molecule in which carbohydrate, that is the sugar, is bound by a glycosidic bond to non-carbohydrate moiety containing a hydroxyl group. So let's divide it first, then we will going to understand it in a better way. So first of all, it is a molecule in which there is a binding between a carbohydrate as well as the non-carbohydrate moiety, and this bonding is going to take place with the help of a glycosidic bond, and along with that there is a presence of a hydroxyl group too. So glycosides is going to have a carbohydrate in its structure as well as the non-carbohydrate part too, along with the presence of a hydroxyl group. So this non-carbohydrate part may be a terpenoids, steroids, flavonoids, and other different kind of a phenolics. And that is why this non-carbohydrate part will be regarded as the aglycon. So with this point, we can say that the molecule which is going to have a carbohydrate part, that carbohydrate part will be regarded as the glycon, and the non-carbohydrate part will be regarded as the aglycon. The word A is supposed to designate a condition in which there is an absence of something, but here the A has been combined with the glycon word, that means there is an absence of a glycon, and glycon means the carbohydrate. So that is why we are saying aglycon for the non-carbohydrate moieties. The sugar most commonly found in glycosides is the glucose. Among the diverse type of glycosides, there is total of three glycosides which are most important. These are saponins, cardiac glycosides, and the synogenic glycosides. So first we are discussing about the saponins. So saponins are the glycosides which used to contain a steroid or a triterpenoid aglycon linked to a carbohydrate moiety by a glycosidic linkage. That means here the aglycon moiety will be either the steroid or the triterpenoids, or you can say it as the terpenoids. And it is going to combine with the carbohydrate moiety with the help of a glycosidic linkage. So from our understanding, we know that the steroid or the triterpenes, they are the lipid soluble compound, whereas the sugar is a water soluble compound. So that is why the presence of this lipid soluble component and the water soluble component is going to make a saponin to act as a detergent, or it is going to have a detergent property. The name saponin was derived from the saponaria, which is at one time was employed as a soap substitute. So if we talk about the function or the role of a saponins, so they used to protect plant against the fungal attack, as well as they used to show some valuable role in the medicinal field because they used to act as the anti-inflammatory. The next type is the cardiac glycosides. So in cardiac glycosides, the A-glycan moiety will be a steroid and obviously a glycan moiety will be a sugar. Digoxin is a best example of the cardiac glycosides and it used to inhibit the sodium potassium pump and increase the intracellular sodium concentration. The last type of glycosides is the cyanogenic glycosides. And if we talk about the A-glycan moiety in this cyanogenic glycosides, so it may be a cyanogens which is going to contain a cyanide group. So this is going to act as the A-glycan moiety. So most of the cyanogenic glycosides, they are supposed to be derived from one of the 4 L-amino acids. Examples are phenylalanine, tyrosine, valine and isoleucine, or it may be from a nicotinic acid. The cyanogenic glycosides have a protective function in our plants. These are natural source of a hydrogen cyanide. The breakdown of a cyanogenic glycosides is going to release a hydrogen cyanide which inhibit the activity of a iron containing cytochrome oxidase. So with this portion we have completed with all the different classes of a plant secondary metabolites. Now we are going to solve some CSI and NET question from the previous year. So the first question is from 2018 June, that is the recent attempt. So the question is, which one of the following secondary metabolites is characterized by a presence of a central carbon atom that is bound by a sulfur to a glycon group and by a nitrogen to a sulfonate oxime group? So the options are, first option is the alkaloids, second is the terpenes, third is the phenolics and the fourth is the glucosinolates. सो हमने देखा कि क्वेश्चंस की रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. ओवरऑल क्वेश्चन का जो लैंग्वेज है आप इसको पढ़िए, आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि इसमें एक हिंट ऑलरेडी दे के रखा है. ऑल्दो क्वेश्चन का जो लैंग्वेज है वो काफ़ी कॉम्प्लेक्स है. स्टार्टिंग में पढ़ने पे ऐसा लगेगा कि हमने समहाउ सेकेंडरी मेटाबोलाइट्स जो पोर्शन है उससे कंप्लीट किया है, बट हम इस क्वेश्चन को आंसर नहीं कर सकते हैं. बट इसमें एक बहुत ही ईजिएस्ट वे में हिंट दिया गया है, दैट इज देयर इज अ प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप. और हमने जितने भी प्लांट सेकेंडरी मेटाबोलाइट्स के बारे में पढ़ा है, हम जानते हैं कि ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक ही क्लास के सेकेंडरी मेटाबोलाइट्स में प्रेजेंट है, दैट इज़ द ग्लाइकोसाइड्स. इसके अलावा हमने ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप या फिर शुगर ग्रुप या फिर कार्बोहाइड्रेट ग्रुप, इसका प्रेजेंस जो है वो किसी और सेकेंडरी मेटाबोलाइट्स के क्लासेस में नहीं देखा है. तो अगर हम पहले ऑप्शन की बात करें, दैट इज़ द एल्कलॉइड्स. सो एल्कलॉइड्स आर मेनली द नाइट्रोजन कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड्स. सो ये ऑप्शन इजीली एलिमिनेट हो गया. अगर सेकेंड ऑप्शन की बात करें, टारपिन्स. सो टारपिन्स में भी ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप का प्रेजेंस नहीं होता है. they are supposed to be composed of a isoprene units, that is why they are supposed to be regarded as the isoprenoids. So they are not going to belongs to a glycon group or they are not bound to a glycon group. So the second option is also get eliminated. The third option is the phenolics. So phenolics is mainly supposed to be derived from a phenylalanine, okay, and they are supposed to have a benzene ring, so they are not going to be bound to any kind of a glycon group. So in this way the third option also get eliminated. Now we are left with the fourth option. फोर्थ ऑप्शन में अगर आप देखें तो ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स, इसमें पहला ही वर्ड आ गया है ग्लूको. ग्लूको मीन्स व्हाट? द शुगर मॉइटी. ग्लूको जो वर्ड है वो खुद ही बता रहा है कि वो एक कार्बोहाइड्रेट ग्रुप से बिलोंग करता है. कार्बोहाइड्रेट ग्रुप का मतलब क्या हुआ? मतलब हुआ ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप. तो इस वे में हमने ये कंसीडर कर लिया कि जो लास्ट का वर्ड है दैट इज द ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स, समहाउ इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर जो है वो ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स ही होने वाला है, क्योंकि एज बिकॉज इसमें वर्ड है ग्लूको, दैट मीन्स शुगर. सो समहाउ इट इज रिलेटेड टू अ कार्बोहाइड्रेट, दैट मीन्स इट इज गोइंग टू बिलोंग टू अ ग्लाइकोसाइड्स ग्रुप. देखिए, एज बिकॉज ये क्वेश्चन एक साल में पूछ दिया गया है, दैट इज इन द प्रीवियस अटेम्प्ट. इसके बाद जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो समहाउ ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स के बारे में कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन रख सकते हैं, लेकिन इनिशियली जब कोई भी क्वेश्चन एक नए फॉर्म में आता है उसके बारे में प्रीवियसली कोई नॉलेज नहीं होता है. इनफैक्ट उसके बाद जो स्टूडेंट्स प्रिपेयर करते हैं वो इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करेंगे, इसके बारे में नॉलेज लेंगे, उसके बाद उस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करेंगे। बट समहाउ अगर हमने ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स के बारे में नहीं भी सुना हो, तो हम या तो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने के जो तरीके होते हैं वो दो होते हैं। या तो आपको सही आंसर पता हो, या तो आपको ये पता हो कि जो ऑप्शन दिया हुआ है उसमें से गलत आंसर कौन सा है। अगर आप 3 ऑप्शन के लिए श्योर हो कि ये तीनों आंसर कभी भी नहीं हो सकते हैं, बट ऑल्दो आपको ये भी पता नहीं है कि करेक्ट आंसर क्या होगा, लेकिन आपको ये पता है कि कौन से 3 ऑप्शन कभी भी नहीं हो सकते हैं। तो ये 2 तरीका होता है करेक्ट आंसर करने का। या तो आपको करेक्ट आंसर पता हो, या तो आपको ये पता हो कि इसमें रॉन्ग ऑप्शंस कौन से हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम मान लेते हैं कि हमें ये नहीं पता है कि ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स क्या होता है, लेकिन हम ये तो जानते हैं कि एल्कलॉइड्स क्या है, टार्पिनॉइड्स क्या है और फिनोलिक्स क्या है, एज वेल एज हम इन तीनों क्लासेस का प्रॉपर्टीज़ भी जानते हैं। तो जो भी प्रॉपर्टीज़ क्वेश्चन में डिफाइन की गई हैं, वो प्रॉपर्टीज़ इन तीनों क्लासेस में से किसी के साथ भी मैच नहीं करती हैं। बोला है ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप का प्रेजेंस ज़रूरी है इन दिस क्वेश्चन। ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप एल्कलॉइड्स में भी नहीं होता है, टार्पिन्स में भी नहीं होता है और फिनोलिक्स में भी नहीं होता है। तो अगर आप अपना दिमाग चलाएं तो आप उसी टाइम पहचान लेंगे कि ऑल्दो मुझे इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं पता है, लेकिन मैं ये जानता हूँ या मैं ये जानती हूँ कि गलत आंसर कौन से हैं। क्योंकि एल्कोलॉइड्स में अगर ग्लाइकॉन नहीं है तो एल्कोलॉइड्स कभी भी करेक्ट आंसर नहीं हो सकता है। टार्पिन में भी ग्लाइकॉन नहीं होता है, मतलब टार्पिन भी कभी भी सही आंसर नहीं हो सकता है। एज वेल एज फिनोलिक्स में भी ग्लाइकॉन ग्रुप नहीं होता है, यानी फिनोलिक्स भी कभी भी सही आंसर नहीं हो सकता है। तो हमारे पास बस अब एक ही ऑप्शन रह गया, दैट इज दी ग्लूकोसिनोलेट्स। सो समहाउ आपको पता हो या ना पता हो, जो करेक्ट आंसर है वो इनडायरेक्टली आपने निकाल लिया, दैट इज द आंसर नंबर 4। तो इस टाइप के ट्रिक्स बहुत से क्वेश्चंस में अप्लाई होते हैं। इस बार का अगर पेपर आता है और अगर इस टाइप का कुछ भी ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है जिसमें कि आपको करेक्ट आंसर पता ना हो, लेकिन आपको ये पता हो कि रॉन्ग कौन कौन से ऑप्शन है, तो देखना आपका जो आंसर है वो ईजिली निकल जाएगा। ऑल्दो ये मेरे साथ बहुत बार हुआ है कि मुझे करेक्ट आंसर पता नहीं है, बट मुझे ये पता होता था कि कौन कौन से ऑप्शन नहीं हो सकते हैं। तो मैं इसी ट्रिक्स को अपना के मैंने बहुत बार एक ऐसे क्वेश्चन को भी सही किया है जिसके बारे में मुझे पता नहीं था। Now let's move to the next question, and sorry I forgot to mention the year. So the question is, secondary metabolites are the diverse array of organic compound in plants. The following are certain statements about the secondary metabolites. So the different statements has been given below and you have to pick the correct combination of statements. So let's see. So the first statement is, they protect plants against being eaten by a herbivores and against being infected by a microbial pathogen. So this option is totally correct, and I don't think that right now you need any kind of a explanation in this statement, because we have already discussed so many things regarding the function of a secondary metabolites. B statement is, the terpenes is a largest class of a secondary metabolites and are synthesized by a methyl erythroyl phosphate, that is the MEP pathway, and the cyclic acid pathway. So this statement is totally wrong, because the terpene used to be synthesized with the help of a MEP pathway as well as the MVA pathway, that is the mevalonic acid pathway, and the methyl erythroyl phosphate pathway. But in this question they have mentioned that it used to be synthesized from a cyclic acid pathway. So that is why the B statement is totally wrong. So right now we have solved the two statement. First was the A statement and second was the B statement. We are agree with the first statement, but somehow the B statement is totally wrong. So if you see the combination of a statement that has been given below in the option, the first option, second option and the fourth option is going to contain a B statement. And although we have concluded with our explanation that the B statement is the wrong. So in this way we can easily able to eliminate the first, second and the fourth option, and somehow our correct answer will be the option number 3. But somehow let's see the C and the D statements too. C statement is, the most abundant class of a phenolics compound in a plant are derived from a phenylalanine. So this statement is totally correct. That is mainly due to mainly formed from a cyclic acid pathway. The D statement is, alkaloids are the nitrogen containing secondary metabolites in a plant. So this statement is also true. We have just studied about that. So in this way, the correct combination will be a C and D, that is the option number 3rd. Now let's move to the next question, and I think this question is from 2016 June or December. Anyways, so the question is, Following are certain statements regarding the secondary metabolites found in our plants. So you have to pick the correct combination of a statement. So the first statement is all terpenes are derived from a 6 carbon element. So this statement is totally wrong because all terpenes used to derive from a 5 carbon element, that is the IPP, which is the isopentenyl diphosphate or the isopentenyl pyrophosphate. So it is not the 6 carbon, it is a 5 carbon element. As because the terpene is made up of a isoprene unit and isoprene unit itself have a 5 carbon atom. So A statement is totally wrong. So if you see the combination of a statement, the option number 1 and 2 is going to have A statement, A option in this in this combination. So that is why we are eliminating the first and the second option. Now we are left with third and the fourth option. So our answer will be either 3 or the 4. So now let's move to the second statement. So B statement is alkaloids are the nitrogen containing compounds. So this statement is totally correct. We have just studied about this. So if you see the option, that is the third option and the fourth option, so only one option is going to have a B statement, that is the option number 3. So somehow it is an indication that our correct answer will be the answer number B. So this is what called the trick, that if you know or if you are sure about a single statement, try to match that statement with your given option, because that is making a surety that you are supposed to attend a correct answer. Now let's see the C statement. So the C statement is pyrethroids, which is a monoterpene ester found in the leaves and the flower of a chrysanthemum species, which used to show a insecticidal activity. So this statement is also correct. We have studied about the pyrethroids, which is a monoterpene and used to show a insecticidal activity. So regarding some compounds, you have to remember the name of a plants through which they are supposed to be secreted. Like here they have mentioned the name of a plant through which the pyrethroids is supposed to be secreted, that is the chrysanthemum species. So C statement is also correct. The D statement is limonoids are the group of alkaloids and have the anti-herbivoral activity. So this statement is totally wrong because the limonoids is a type of a monoterpene which is supposed to be present in the terpenoids group, not the alkaloids group. So this statement is totally wrong. So our correct answer is the B and the C combination, that is the answer number 3. With this, we have completed the portion of a plant secondary metabolites, which was the huge portion from a plant physiology.